come live off grid. For those of you who don't know what off-grid living is, it's basically living unplugged. Like, that's the best way I can put it. It's like you're not plugged into electricity, you're not plugged into the water system.
When you in the country, you know, you pretty much by yourself. Your next door neighbor may be 2, 3, 4, 5 miles down the road. You feel what I'm saying? So there's a difference. And the difference is when you have less people, when there's a community that is less dense, right? There are more animals. There is more of the unknown. And so you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in this environment, because it can shake you up real quick. You feel what I'm saying? Like when you be watching them movies and they be in the woods and they be hearing shit, because you've heard and seen this shit on the movie so much, this is what you expect. Now, when you get around other individuals, it's a lot more relaxed, because, you know, there's somebody there that can validate what you're hearing. The scary part is, you know, you being out by yourself and hearing some shit and nobody there to validate whether what you heard is real or not. You feel what I'm saying? And then you might think that you paranoid and start going crazy. You feel what I'm saying? This is what people fear. They fear the unknown, you know. So let's keep watching. There's a lot to, you know, disclose in this video, because as you know, with experience comes a lot of wisdom, so to speak. You feel what I'm saying? Let's keep watching.
You're not pinpointed on any map. Like, this home obviously can move. It's on wheels. So yeah, you're basically off grid. Like, you're disconnected from society to a certain extent.
Now, emphasis on to a certain extent, because when she said you can't be pinpointed, that is incorrect. As long as you have a smartphone, a device, you can always be pinpointed. There will be, you know, ambulances that can get to you, but if you live far deep in the country with with nobody else around, then it's harder to pinpoint you. You feel what I'm saying?
Water, I have to go to the main house to refill my water jugs, and I do have an outhouse because there is a bathroom in this RV, but obviously because it's off grid, we're not using it.
See, to a lot of people, that isn't obvious because they don't have the experience. Now, when we talk about RVs, right, and them not having a bathroom, typically speaking, you don't want a bathroom in your RV. You feel what I'm saying? You just don't. Now, the reason I say that is because after time, it gets mold quicker than an average home. You feel what I'm saying? Like, your bathroom starts to mold very quickly when you're in an RV, because of the space is so small. There's no way for the bathroom to actually breathe. Even if you got a window in there, you feel what I'm saying? Bathrooms and RVs mold very quickly, depending on where you are, and it always breaks down. You feel what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to taking a shit, you don't want to take a shit in your house. You feel what I'm saying? Even in a regular home, when you got the sewage pumping up in your, you feel what I'm saying? When you got the sewage that's backed up, you can smell it in your house. It starts smelling like eggs. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, personally, I think it's a nasty motherfucking thing to have a bathroom inside of the home, typically because, you know, it got bacteria and all type of shit. But anyway, getting back to the point, right? You don't really want to have water in a mobile home. You don't. Like, not unless you like, you know, washing your dishes and, you know, doing all that. When you get a mobile home, you want to have a separate bathroom if possible. You want your shitter to be in a specific spot, because even though you flush in the toilet, let's say you running water, you flush the toilet, it got to go into a septic tank. That septic tank fill up, it's like a porta potty. You got to soak, you got to get all of that shit out. Otherwise, it's going to back up and you're going to start smelling shit like a motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? It's going to stink like fuck. I'm not lying to you, dog. Best thing to do is to compost. Let's keep watching.
Now, this bathroom area is quite interesting. First of all, the hallway fits just me. They did great with the space.
Now, again, she said the hallway is a nice space. I want you to understand, if you big and tall, you're going to feel uncomfortable in this RV. That's just what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Unless you just like, you've been living this lifestyle, if you came from a regular home to an RV, you're gonna be squeezing through a lot of shit, dog. You're gonna be bumping your head a lot of the times because the cabinets, you feel what I'm saying, they be so low from you gonna knock your head into that shit. You feel what I'm saying? You wanna sit up straight when you get out of bed, dog. I'm telling you, bro, depending on how high the bed is, you're gonna smack your head a couple of times. You're gonna scrape your knees coming through that motherfucker. I'm telling you, fam. I'm telling you, dog. And don't let you have no gas refrigerator in that bitch. You feel me? If that motherfucking hose come loose and you just so happen to spark a cigarette, it could be a funeral for your motherfucking ass. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that goes for the oven too, and the heat and all that shit. Most people running their shit off propane. You feel what I'm saying? So it's best to get you some grade A solar, or have a wood burning stove. Like, bro, you gotta be careful in them motherfucking RVs. Straight up. Like, bro, it's something that you really have to adjust to. You feel what I'm saying? Let's keep watching. Now, the reason I'm showing you this part is because don't think you finna just get any old power bank, walk into your RV and plug a fucking microwave up into it. Yeah, it may work for 2 fucking seconds, literally 2, and then your battery is shot. That's it. That's all. If you spent between $40 and $300 and $400 on one of them battery banks, bro, don't even plug nothing. Don't plug no hair dryers up. Don't plug no heaters up. Don't plug no PlayStation you can plug the PlayStation up, but don't plug nothing that can heat up to that motherfucking, no McGriddles, no microwaves, no coffee pots. Don't plug none of that shit up. You feel what I'm saying? You're gonna burn your goddamn house down doing shit like that. You feel me? So like you gotta do some type of research before you want to just jump into an RV, dog. Because you know, a lot of them RVs don't come equipped with they wiring be fucked up. And let's say the wiring is good in your RV, right? I've seen RVs where you plug a heater up in that motherfucker, it starts to, the sockets start to fucking burn and smoke and fire. You feel what I'm saying? It's just, for most of the RVs that are older models, they just not equipped. The wiring be shot. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a lot that go into it, dog. And be prepared for fucking water damage. You feel what I'm saying? Most of the RVs you gonna see that's used, that you find, is gonna be a leak some fucking where. It don't matter if you in the middle of a goddamn desert where it barely ever rains, you gonna find a fucking leak, dog. Let's keep watching.
Everything you need. For me, being off grid, what I like about the kitchen is just the comfortability of it. Like, it looks like a kitchen. And sometimes when you're living alternatively, like, it's hard to have that vibe of like really feeling like I'm home.
And there could be a couple of reasons why you don't feel as though you're home, but we just gonna, settle or emphasize 2 of those. One could be that you're so used to living in a regular home and a regular life, right? This synthetic Sims life, that it's hard for you to break out of that programming, that mindset, right? So you feel a lot of anxiety because it's new, and new is scary to a lot of people. You feel what I'm saying? So adjusting to that may start to stress you out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, oh, it just feels so different. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't have my amenities. You feel me? And it's like, to not readily have those on demand may make a lot of people second guess the lifestyle. You feel what I'm saying? And or, right, you may never feel at home in your RV because you're just in the wrong geographic location, or you're in the wrong spot mentally. You feel what I'm saying? And so you constantly search and look for places to call home, but you have yet to acknowledge that you don't feel at home because you yourself don't feel at peace. You feel what I'm saying? Once you start to realize what peace is, because you don't get peace from living off grid. I want you to understand that this life can be stressful, and I'm not implying anything, but I am saying the life of living off grid can stress a lot of people out, because you have to do everything manually before you can, essentially graduate to other things. You feel what I'm saying? You know, like to have like running water is a stress for a lot of people. There are ways around it, like getting water pumps and tanks, and you know, but it's a hassle for people to manually, you know, get the water and receive. Even if you collecting it by a rain barrel and you're using, you know, you got to twist the water. You got the hose connected to the rain barrel. You got to twist that on to turn your water on after it hit the water heater. And you feel what I'm saying? It's a lot for people to adjust to. Like, people are so pampered, it's just too much for them to handle. You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, you know, it can cause a lot of stress to people who just don't want to, you know, see things through, that are not patient enough, that fear, you know, the abnormal, so to speak. So, you know, just keep that in mind when y'all, you know, trying to adjust or feel like you want to transition into the lifestyle.
This is the outhouse, y'all. Now you can tell this is a type of chair.
Now, honestly speaking, this may be the worst part for a lot of people to deal with. They own fecal matter. You feel what I'm saying? When you know, transition, you have to find somewhere to ultimately put this. Now, you can get you a septic tank, like I say, and you can use your running flushable water. But eventually, and when it happens, when you got to clean that tank out, it's going to be the foulest shit you smelled in your entire fucking life. You know what I'm saying? But then there are those like she doing composting. You know, that's not how, you know, people typically compost. You don't use toilets like that. You feel what I'm saying? You use other methods of, you feel what I'm saying? Like, this is, or you can do it like the Romans did and just shit on the ground and keep it moving. Like, it's a lot of people that do that, and then it's a lot of people that dig a trench and then take a poop and then, you know, wipe the, you feel what I'm saying? And there's different methods, just basically. And then you have the toilets as well, that, you know, separates the it costs $600. It turns the poop into gas. You feel what I'm saying? So it's all about, and then you got this incinerator as well. You know, the incinerator is really great. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can just burn that shit. Like, but it takes so much power and so much, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna cost you to keep that motherfucker running. You feel me? So, yeah, man, that's something to adjust to.